to another video, peeps. I'm currently getting ready to go to a 76ers game. I'll check in when I'm doing the finishing touches to my makeup to show you guys what I am using product-wise. I'm about to put on some bronzer. Actually, first I'm gonna re-powder my face and also powder underneath my eyes because I didn't. I'm just using the Charlotte Tilbury, I think it's Flawless Finish. I don't know what this is. In the shade 10 or 3. Using the One Size and the Ultimate Setting Powder in the shade Ultra Pink, which I haven't really fully figured out whether I like using pink under my eye or if it's too bright. Sometimes I like using this though when I do a very pinky blush because it kind of like blends in, if you will, nicely. We're taking the Giorgio Armani in the shade 110. You guys seen this because I bought it in California earlier this year and I couldn't stop talking about being on the hunt for this. So I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I'm just doing a little color, like not a lot at all, but maybe it'll create slight definition. I'm gonna go in with my Sephora in the shade Flirted Up for 6. This is just their colorful blush. Sephora brand. Honestly, actually kind of love this stuff. And I'm not gonna put a lot because I am doing a TikTok where I need to put on more blush, so we're just gonna start it off, you know, add a little blush, if you will. I'm gonna go in with this liquid liner. This is the e.l.f. Stylo eyeliner. That's all in the shade Black, of course. Okay guys, I will check you guys at Jennifer's place because I don't have time to talk anymore. We just left breakfast and we're heading to Barnes & Noble to get my books. I'm excited because I'm doing this 10 before the end haul or TBR list. Granted, I may very well read more than 10 books before the end of the year, but for now, that's what I'm gonna give myself a challenge to do, is to read 10 more books. Jasmine's editing and looking for books. Yeah. Got a multitask. Blind date with a werewolf. That sounds interesting. When did they put the fantasy, new fiction? I was like, when did they put this there? Ah, the shadow going direct. Okay, because I was like, what? Because I read these two and I didn't read this one, but I was like, this looks so familiar. No wonder. No wonder. Hello, beautiful people. It's been a few days, but I wanted to come on and talk about my 10 before the end. We left off at Barnes & Noble and I wanted to share what books I got. They weren't all from Barnes & Noble, but some from Amazon and one on my Kindle. So let's get started with my in the fall / winter TBR. The first book I read, it came out earlier in November on the 11th, is Between Two Kings. I read the first book on my Kindle a couple of months ago, so I didn't want to buy the second book because then I wouldn't have the complete duology, and it's not a series that was worth me putting on my shelves. So just read it on my Kindle, and that's why you don't see a paperback copy, because I was saying how I wanted to read more physical books because I'm trying to fill up my library back there. So this is the only one that I will read on my Kindle that's a part of the Timber for the End list. Next is the book that I'm currently reading, and it's the book by E.M. Forster, A Room with a View. It's an old classical literature book, and it tells a story about a girl discovering herself and something in Florence that she didn't really think that she was missing. In my opinion, I've only gotten a quarter of the way through, so it could totally be about something else, but I'm enjoying it so far. It's a difficult read language-wise because it's obviously old and it was translated, but I'm enjoying it, and I've been trying to read more classics, so I thought, why not start with one of the more renowned ones that is a smaller book. Next up, we have another classic, Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I love the cover, and I've been wanting to read Wuthering Heights because they have an adaptation coming out in February. So I wanted to read this before then, so I figured I might as well add it to my Timber for the End. I will probably read this later in the month of December because I'll be on holiday break from work during that time, and it'll give me a chance to read it because I already know that it's probably going to be a slower read for me. Next, we have a poetry book called Let Us Believe in the Beginning of the Cold Season by Thoreau. I'll put the name up there because I don't want to butcher it, but the cover is gorgeous, and I saw it on TikTok, and it's a book of poetry, which I don't have in this stack, so I figured I want to mix up the genres and go with this. So I'm excited to read some of the poetry in here. Next, we have A Mountain Is You by Brianna Weiss. I read her other book, 101 Essays to Change the Way You Think, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. I read that a few years ago, but this book has been on my mental TBR list for a while, so I wanted to check it out. So I got this. This is probably the only self-help or philosophical or sociological book I have in the pile, so that's great. Like I said, mixing up the genres. Okay, next we have The Second Death of Locke by V.L. Bobolino. I don't even know if it's a fantasy book. It looks like a fantasy book, but I truly don't know what it's about. And I was recommended it, not directly, but through my algorithm on TikTok. So I'm excited to read it because one of my TikTok girlies that I trust raved about it. So I feel like it'll be good. Okay, next is one of my anticipated reads of November, Callie Hart's Brimstone. I was waiting for this because I read Quicksilver, which was the first book in this series, earlier this year. Maybe it was February sometime, February, March, I don't know. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. This book came out on the 18th of November, and so I had to wait a couple of days to pick it up from Barnes & Noble, but I got it. I love the copper colored edges of the pages. I'm gonna hold off reading this until the 1st of December because I'm a part of an online book club on Fable, and they're reading this as their December pick of the month. So I am holding off. Next, we have a book by a Black author, J.L. Seegers, Restore Me. I want to say it's a forbidden love. This woman falls in love with her husband's brother, but her husband died, so she's a widow. And yeah, I think it's about finding love after grief and loss. So I'm intrigued by this story. I think I saw it on TikTok once again, so I don't know much about it, but I'm excited to read it. Next, we have My Train Leaves at 3, also recommended by another of the book talkers that I follow, and this is by a Black author, Natalie Guerrero. I'm excited for this. It says, grief, sexuality, and ambition collide in an electric novel about a young woman determined to make her dreams come true. That sounds like me. That sounds like my life. Something I can empathize with. So I'm excited to read it. All right, last up, Shield of Sparrows. This is a fantasy read. Notice I don't have many of them, but it's my favorite genre, to be quite honest. It's the one I feel most alive in. It's the type of genre that I can't necessarily put down, unlike many others, like regular romance and classical literature and psychological books. Those I will read, but slowly. These I eat up. But this one is a hyped book on TikTok, shall I say, and it's been on my TBR for a few months, so I decided to pick it up and add it to my end of the year read list. And yeah, I'm excited. As you can see, I started a little bit, so I'm dual reading 2 books, but yeah, hopefully pray for me that I get through all of these books, and let me know what's on your Tim for the end if you have one, and if you don't have one, let me know what you're currently reading.